Hello, it's your humble host and narrator again, JT Wheatley, once again giving you another History of the Comic Book Podcast episodes. This time, the origin of Superman. The origin of Superman, the character who kicked off the golden age of comic books and arguably one of the most important fictional characters in history, begins with his creators, Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Jerry Siegel was born Jerome Siegel to Michael and Sarah Siegel on October 17, 1914 in Cleveland, Ohio. His parents were Jewish immigrants from Lithuania, with his father earning his support as a haberdasher. At the time, Cleveland had a rich Jewish community and was a forward-looking city, being the first with public electricity, trolleys, streetlights, an indoor shopping arcade, and intelligence tests for the school system. Truly a city of tomorrow. Growing up there, he fell in love with movies, particularly the Douglas Fairbanks Sr. and The Mark of Zorro, a popular movie and character among many comic book creators. He also tried his hand at art, imitating the Little Nemo and Mud and Jeff comic strip, which his father encouraged. Siegel was also a lover of pulp tales, particularly Amazing Stories, which on his August 1928 issue featured a flying man and his own sci-fi adventures. By 1929, at age 14, he tried to make his own collection with Cosmic Stories, though he would never remember if he sold an issue. This is one of the first examples of a fanzine, more popularly known as fan fiction today. Sadly, on June 2, 1932, his father, Michael, was killed when his store was robbed by gunpoint. The murder was never solved, and the family would keep it a secret, claiming he died of a heart attack. However, the very next day, on June 3rd, in the Cleveland Plains Dealer, there was a letter written by A.L. Lufer calling for a need for vigilantes during the Depression. And Michael Siegel's young son would grow up to create a crime fighter who was invulnerable to bullets. He found solace in the Torch, his high school's paper, which was Glenville High, where he dreamed of becoming a reporter. However, he was never popular as the regular school reporters, particularly Lois Oster, who everyone would give different stories about how much she inspired a future fictional female reporter, though her name can't be ignored. Siegel did get some strips into the paper, particularly a Tarzan parody called Goober the Mighty, which not only parodied the popular pulp character, but also Siegel's new friend, Joe Shuster. Shuster was born on July 10, 1914, in Toronto, Canada, to Russian immigrants. The family eventually moved to Cleveland, Ohio when he was 9, where he worked as a newspaper boy. He enjoyed comic strips and tried his hand at drawing a few, like Little Orphan Annie and Wash Tubs, with the hope of getting on the Torch as well. His other passion was bodybuilding, inspired by then fitness guru Charles Atlas. However, he only managed to get one cartoon into the paper, but it was the one where he met Jerry Siegel. They immediately became friends, sharing a love of movies, pulps, and comic strips, and worked together on the fanzine The Advanced Guard of Future Civilization. They also became hugely inspired by The Gladiator by Philip Wiley in 1932, which featured a perfect man who was brought down by society. Much of these stories were inspired by the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche's concept of the Übermensch or Superman, and also played on Wright's George Bernard Shaw's Man and Superman. It was the same idea of a superior or superpowered human that inspired his pulp heroes like Tarzan and John Carter, who had superhero strength on Mars due to its low gravity. It quickly inspired Siegel and Shuster as well, in their story in January of 1933 of science fiction, The Reign of Superman by Herbert S. Fine, a nod to their cousin, with Shuster providing the cover art. The story involved a scientist who creates a race of men with psychic powers who tries to take over the world and was incidentally bald. At this point, the pulp hero Doc Savage was extremely popular, and Siegel and Shuster took an instant liking to him, especially when by the ad in the shadow that proclaimed him Superman, and wrestling with a gun-wielding villain. Then, on March of 1933, Detective Dan appeared in The Stand, a ripoff of Dick Tracy. Siegel instantly bought it and showed it to Joe, inspired not because of the quality, because quite frankly it wasn't that good, but proclaiming, "We can do better than this." Also, in 1934, Siegel and Shuster met Jolene Kovacs, who agreed to model for Joe to practice the female form. While Jolene bears little resemblance to Lois Lane today, she did have a personal effect on both boys, first with Joe, who went on a few soda dates with her, but nothing more. She later disappeared from their lives and married, but her spirit would be a presence in Lois Lane, and more importantly in Jerry's own life later on. While shopping their Superman around, Siegel and Shuster did manage to sell Gloria Glamour to Popular Comics, which was a riff from the movie Bombshell. Unfortunately, the tabloid was canceled before getting published. Meanwhile, Jerry tried taking Superman to different artists, such as Tony Strobe, Mel Graft, who later created The Phantom Magician and Patsy, and then Russell Keaton. Having struck out, he returned to his friend Joe and managed to sell 2 strips to New Fun Comics. Henry Duval of France, famed soldier of fortune, and Dr. Occult, the ghost detective, in New Fun number 6. A Van Helsing-style hero and another of their characters who would see long life in DC. In addition, on March of 1937, their character, the two-fisted detective Slam Bradley, appeared in the new series Detective Comics number 1. Though, as we all know, another detective would soon take over that series. Finally, in late 1937, national editor Vin Sullivan paid for a 13-page Superman story at $130, which included the rights to the character, to be on the cover of their new series, Action Comics. Published on April 18, 1938, the first Superman quickly detailed his origin, powers, and established the secret identity of Clark Kent, mild-mannered reporter, along with his fellow reporter Lois Lane. He couldn't fly, had no X-ray vision, and not as strong as he would later become. But as the classic cover depicted, he could easily wield a full-size automobile. Joe Shuster modeled Superman's look after one of their favorite actors, Douglas Fairbanks Sr., while his Clark Kent look was based on the comic actor Harold Lloyd. In addition, his name, Clark Kent, was a combination of Clark Gable and Kent Taylor. Plus, he didn't work at the Daily Planet at the time, but the Daily Star, and a nod to the Toronto Daily Star of Shuster's hometown. And with that, Shigo and Shuster finally got their creation to the newsstands, only to have it sold away for $130 and a contract for future work. Neither side knew just how important this contract was, and just what their creation was about to unleash. I should note, my chief source for this episode was Men of Tomorrow, Geeks, Gangsters, and the Birth of the Comic Book by Gerard Jones, a fantastic book detailing the origins of both Superman and the golden age of comic books. Get it wherever books are sold. If you are a comic book fan, it's a must-read. And now it is June 21st, 2018, time for some reviews. First up, of course, favorite comic book of the week. Batman, number 49, by Tom King and Mike Janin. Another great issue that continues the two-part The Best Man storyline that this time has Catwoman faces off against the Joker as they confront each other over both their past and her upcoming nuptials to Batman. This is a great issue by King that really does explore the fact that these two used to be criminal colleagues. And with some fun interplay, at one point, Joker asks if Catwoman can reload his gun so he can shoot her in the face. However, there is some high drama, too, as Joker makes some compelling points that Catwoman is making a mistake marrying Batman. Mike Janin's art is crisp and gorgeous, and once again delivers some brilliant facial expressions, with the Joker once again looking both sinister and sad at the same time. Just a great issue leading up to the inevitable Batman-Catwoman wedding in issue number 50, and I can't wait. Also, a little film called The Incredibles 2 opened over the weekend, and let's just say it was well worth the 14-year wait. Brad Bird picks up right where the story left off as the team at the family once again tries to restart their lives as superheroes, this time some help with some corporate masters, and confronts a new villain in Screenslaver. Once again, like the first one, they balance his superhero antics with family dynamics as Elastigirl goes off to be a superhero while Bob, Mr. Incredible, has to stay home and watch the kids. Just a great movie all around, entertaining, fun, gorgeous animation that actually seamlessly blends in with the original one, but still advances for today. There was a fight between Elastigirl and Screenslaver that is just jaw-droppingly gorgeous in what they were able to do. And this is easily one of the best films of the year so far. And the only complaint, please don't give us another 14 years for the next one. I want one of these maybe every year if we can. Just saying. Outside of that, go out and enjoy yourself through comics. And next week we will continue with the full history of Superman up to present day. Besides that, go out and enjoy yourself through the comic book. And also watch Incredibles 2. That movie is fantastic.